We're at day 3. Water's dropped a heap, as you can see. So this is just where I've been working. This is where I'll continue to work. There's my stick. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a play here and see if I can get onto that clay again. Alright guys, what I'm doing a little bit differently today is using my sieve just to get rid of some of the larger rocks because the water's dropped off. Even though I've got the punch plate on the sluice, I've decided this is what I'll do. Yeah, I stepped on this unfortunately, but it should still show you what I was meaning about the clay in the first video. So as you can see on top here, some sort of browny clay. I've got large rocks, small rocks, all stuck in it. Now I'll flip this over. Now we've got a pale clay. So I don't want the pale clay. I don't believe there'll be any gold in the pale clay. I believe the clay that's like this, that's dirty, that's got rocks in it, means that if those rocks got stuck, and they'll be the heavier rocks as they're flowing down the stream, there's a possibility that the gold will get stuck there as well. So I've been putting a few shovel loads through here, through the sluice itself. Now this clay takes a little bit to work, but as I was saying in the other video, once these balls roll up here, just bring them back down, sort of join them together and mush them all up as much as you can. Possibly gonna miss some gold, but you know, hopefully get most of it. That's all we're hoping for at the end of the day, is to get most of the gold. You're always going to leave something behind. You're going to lose something somewhere, or you're just going to miss a spot by a few inches. So I've gathered some clay over here. I'll chuck that in. I'll probably put about 4 shovel loads through there, and I don't know, about 6 in here. So that's the stuff I've got to work with. So about half of one of these 11-litre buckets. I'll put that through and I'll do a clean out and see if we're got any colour to show. Just trying to spread it over the whole mat rather than just keeping it in the centre, I should say. Once it washes most of it through, there's hard, heavier rocks, just brush them over the top. I'm sure I'll give it enough time for any gold, if there is any there, to settle down to the bottom. Don't expect anything big, as you see with most of the stuff that I do here at Warrandyte. It's very small. clears out pretty well. The other thing is, at this end, you got to make sure, you want to make sure, is you're keeping that clear, clearing that out. That'll affect what's happening with the mat. You want it to have an area where it can just freely flow and drop off. So every so often you give that a bit of a clean. As you can see, it darkens up pretty quickly. Hopefully you can see that. So that's all the sort of muddier bits, the dirt that comes through. So because I don't have much water flow, it's sort of clogging up at the end here. But if I give that enough time, I'll have a look up here. You can see this top end of the mat, you can see the green through the punch plate. So that's clearing out. It's this end that'll take a bit longer. I'll quickly feed the rest of this bucket through, and then I'll take the punch plate off and give you a look and see what's going on with the mat. Alright, run the rest of that bucket through, and now taking the punch plate off, and I'm actually seeing some gold just up here in the lettering of the M, in the T there, the second T, and over here in the O of the gold. I don't know, I'm actually sort of surprising myself a little bit. I've dug here plenty of times before, just not in this exact spot. I've dug this area plenty of times. Come in the summertime and dug out crevices, and haven't been able to get onto gold like this straight away. Like, I've done bugger all, I've done that bucket. Now if I keep digging and digging, I spend hours here, am I going to probably get any more? Maybe a little bit, but not much. I tend to find that here at Warrandyte. You go into this little spot, you get a little bit of gold. Now I've done this 3 days in a row, and every time I've got gold. I'll pull this mat out and have a look and show you in the pan what I've got. But I haven't dug a big area, pretty much, I'll just show you from here to about there. So, I don't know, 1.5 meters. I haven't dug very wide, only about the width of my shovel. It is quite a bit of material when you take all the big rocks and all the rest of it out, but it's not a real lot. It's not a big giant dig that I've had to do, and honestly I've had to play today. It's just been, as I said, a couple of shovels through the sluice, and probably about 6 or 7 into the bucket that I've used, that MineLab sieve. And I'm not worried about losing any gold. I can leave this mat here, I reckon, the whole day, and that gold will stay there. The only time I'd be worried is if I kick it or bump it or knock it, and then I might kick the gold up a little bit and it'll just send it further down the mat anyway. It's not like there's a lot of heavy black sand here. that it's eventually going to migrate because the gold's maybe flat and the sand's round, and it can send it through the sluice somewhere like at Reedy Creek. Here it's a bit different. I'm getting, you know, a bit of movement. Even you can see like these larger rocks, that rock right just there in the cell, it's just spinning, and that's what this mat does. It's what's so good about this mat is once it gets it in that little spot and it gets into one of those cells, it just spins and holds it there and holds it there and holds it there. I suppose that's the science that goes into this mat. Alright, I'm going to pull this sluice out, clean the mat, and see how much colour we got. Alright, clean the sluice out. Oh, there we go. So, there's 3 bits of gold there. One's already turning silver because of the mercury. And there's another 4 little bits there, maybe 5. I'll suck this up in my snuffer bottle. I've got this other, see if I can put it there and see if it focuses. Some type of a gemstone, I'm not too sure. The other thing that I pulled out of the pan before, I don't know what they are. It could be metal or something. I just set them on the sluice, just not getting in the way while I was panning. There's these 3 little bits here. You know, some type of rock or metal, or not real sure. Don't think they're BBs. That one is nice and sort of half round, and just trying to get this to be on the right angle to be able to see it. Yeah, a little bit of colour. That'll do me for today. So yeah, showing you 3 different conditions in the sense that when the water was flowing really high, getting gold in this spot. That gave me the idea of trying here. I'm just thinking to myself, you know, everyone keeps talking about these low pressure zones and all this sort of area. Well, the gold's got to travel along the fastest path if it's going to move, I suppose, in that sense. And it's getting to one of these places where it drops off. And it seems strange, why is it going to drop off here? Well, it's hitting that bedrock. In my first video I show you, it's hitting that bedrock, it's creating that wave and a dip. So, as the gold bounces up, it drops down and travels along the bottom. What we found along this bottom is a clay bottom. Some of it may be getting stuck. There's some larger rocks there that could be acting as a false bottom as well. But I reckon this whole area, I reckon you could go along this whole area along here. Now that you can see, this is all eroded from the bank, all this material. And it's fairly fresh. So this is the bank eroding away when it flows fast. It hits this bedrock. And like it's really quiet there, but I know people have had a dig there and not much luck. A lot of the water then comes back in here, and the same thing, the water focuses over this way, just over here, and you might be able to tell, but it's going under the bank again. It's hitting that rock and it's eroding that out as well. So, you know, maybe somewhere like this where it's hitting the wall, and hopefully some of that gold possibly could be getting forced down there. You see behind the rock, just there, just here, it's nice and quiet. Maybe move some of that big rock out of the way and might get some colour there. Then once it bounces off there, it's getting thrown out this side. And there's some lighter gravels, what you'd sort of expect on the outside. This sort of finer, still heavy stones, but it's the lighter, smaller stuff. Now you might get a little bit of colour there, but you want that big, you want those larger rocks with the mix. Sort of what's happening here. Gold's heavy, it's going to hopefully drop out first. But when it does move with the flow, and trying to work out where that heavy flow was, when you get to somewhere where there might not be heavy flow, it might be just slowly flowing there like this, I've dammed that up. So normally, and that was for the sluice today, normally the water's going straight over that, but I'll put a dam in there and move the water flow more to this central position here. I didn't want to exactly be digging and have all my tailings just go straight back into where I'm digging. It'd be sort of pointless. But there you go. Alright, as normal I talk too much and these things tend to go for too long. So I hope you're enjoying. Subscribe if you like, share, and until the next time, I'll see you all later.